If, whether you're live or on replay, okay, it doesn't matter, answer me this question in the chat box, okay? Do you remember the last time you stepped out of your comfort zone and you were being vulnerable? So do you remember the last time that you were vulnerable? What was it? What did you do that was vulnerable? Might have been something out of the box. It might have been something you said. It might have been something you did, right? It don't matter what it is, because it's going to look different for everyone. What was the last thing that you did that was vulnerable? Do you remember how you felt after you did it? Do you remember how you felt after you did it? Not while you did it, after. Okay. That leads us into our discussion tonight, all right? With vulnerability. So many people think that vulnerability is something to shy away from, right? We withdraw from vulnerability and we avoid it. Most people, most likely, because it's uncomfortable. It is. Why do you avoid it, right? Why do you avoid the uncomfortability of vulnerability? Sorry, that was hard for me to get out. Why is vulnerability easy to avoid would be a better way to say it, right? Well, I have an answer for you. It's the same reason most animals, in particularly cats, won't show you their stomach unless the cat truly trusts you. They don't. Are you kidding? You can't put a cat on its back, right? There is no way, right? And that's because it's exposing its stomach. And exposing the stomach is dangerous because it leaves the vital organs vulnerable. Well, we aren't that different. We also avoid being vulnerable to protect ourselves, to protect our hearts from being hurt. Now think about it. When you express yourself in any way, whatever it is, it can be through music, art, writing, acting, right? Telling jokes, simply anything, okay? It is an act of trust, confidence, that you are opening your heart and showing those around you, showing the world in a sense, what's inside of you. Now, that can be scary, especially if you have had a negative experience in your life. And there's points in our life, right, where we can probably list off the negative experiences we've had in our life that lend us to believe we are not safe to be vulnerable. I understand. But the truth is, without being vulnerable, we can't live up to our own potential. So here's a thought-provoking question for you. And you can put it in the chat if you want also. But I do want you to become aware of what's inside of you. What creation is inside of you that is screaming to come out? What has long wanted to be birthed that hasn't? Right? Maybe it's a book you've wanted to write to help others. Or a painting you have felt called to paint. Maybe it's as simple as words of appreciation to someone who's important to you in your life. but you haven't expressed yet. When we do express something deep within us verbally, okay, we are being vulnerable. Whatever it is inside of you that you have kept inside because you're afraid of being vulnerable, afraid of being hurt, ridiculed, or laughed at, it's normal to do that, okay? So to keep those creations within us, right, eventually will eat you up. It is inevitable that when we keep things within us, it will keep us stuck and eventually end up being your biggest regret at some point in your life. Let that land for a minute, right? And I'll repeat it, right? When we keep things inside, eventually they begin to eat at us. They begin to really bother us. And eventually, right? Eventually they will end up being one of your biggest regrets. It is inevitable. Some of you are aware of him, maybe not, but Dean Graziosi is one of the biggest influencers and motivational speakers of our day. He has said that he would hate to get to the end of his life only for God to show him a video of the man he could, right, have been if only he had lived up to his full potential. That's a powerful thought. That's a powerful statement, right? Do you want to get to the end of your life only to say, oh, I wish I had? No, I know you don't. Or would you rather get to the end of your life and say, I am so glad I took chances. I am so glad I did. Right? The way to live up to your full potential is to allow yourself to be vulnerable. I promise you, trust me. The way to live up to your full potential is to allow yourself to be vulnerable. Vulnerability is the answer to stepping into your full potential. So to really bring this about, I thought I would use another person's content today because she's way more famous than Lisa Thomas. And her words will hold more power, I think, when it comes to vulnerability. So we're going to look at some myths surrounding vulnerability because when we can discover what it is not, we can more fully accept what vulnerability is in our lives. These myths all come from the book Daring Greatly by Brene Brown. Okay, we all know who Brene Brown is, and she has talked a lot on different subjects over the years. Well, I'm going to draw from her content because I want it to land for you. Okay, myth number one is that vulnerability is weakness. Often we've been told that. We've been told that by our fathers, even our mothers. We've been told that by other people, right? Myth one is vulnerability is weakness, but it couldn't be further from the truth, as it is one of the most commonly accepted myths about vulnerability. Because to be vulnerable is human. I promise you, it is to be human. It is in our nature. Brene Brown says, vulnerability is the core of all emotions and feelings. To feel is to be vulnerable. To believe vulnerability is weakness is to believe that feeling is weakness. Right? To foreclose, shut down on our emotional life out of the fear of all that the costs will be too high is to walk away from the very thing that gives purpose and meaning to living. That's powerful. So if we say that vulnerability is not weakness, we could also say that vulnerability is strength. Being vulnerable is being strong. It is truly living to your fullest. Okay, myth number two. I don't do vulnerability. Has anybody heard that? I have. I've had clients say, I don't do vulnerability. This isn't true for anyone. But as Brene Brown says, we cannot opt out of uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure that's woven through our daily experiences because life is vulnerable. Just by living on planet Earth, we are vulnerable to the risk and the unknowns of life. The question isn't whether or not we are vulnerable. The question is, what are we going to do about the vulnerability we feel? What are we going to do about the vulnerability we feel? Because we have a choice. We can embrace it and work through it, okay? Or we can shun it and limit our own experience and impact in our world. Or we can be something in between, right? As I suspect most of us are. But we always have a choice. We choose either to live life to the fullest, or we choose not to. Either way, we cannot escape being vulnerable. So we may as well embrace it and let go and step all in, right? Okay. I believe you want this too, or you wouldn't be part of this tribe. You want more for yourself. And part of having more in your life is accepting vulnerability. Myth number 3, vulnerability is letting it all hang out. Okay, that's not true. Not so. And Brene Brown explains it perfectly when she says, vulnerability is about sharing our feelings and our experiences with people who have earned the right to hear them. Being vulnerable is integral part of trusting, the trusting building process, okay? No one should share anything with everyone. But we can share some things with those we trust. And we should if we want our relationships to grow and flourish. However, there is a hiccup with this process. And Brene goes on to explain, the bad news is that it's a chicken or the egg issue here. We need to feel trust to be vulnerable, and we need to be vulnerable in order to trust. It's a catch-22, as I would say it. And that complicates things quite a bit. However, trust can be built little by little, one small act at a time. It takes time, effort, attention, and vulnerability to have impact in deepening our life experiences. And that's okay, because it doesn't have to be a big gesture with major vulnerability, okay? To begin with, it is best to build this incrementally with small amounts of vulnerability. And that's something that we can all do in every action we take in our life. Now, myth number 4 is that we can do it alone. We can just do life alone. We can do everything alone. The truth is we need support. We need support on this journey we call life. And getting support means being vulnerable. Life is hard. Life is uncertain. Life has its ups and downs. And we all need someone, or more than one person, who will lift us and dust us off when things get tough. Someone who can share a different perspective with us so that we can see it in a different way. And we cannot do that alone. We can't do life alone in all aspects. And the cool thing about it is it helps others when we ask for help. And you've heard me say that many times. We need each other on planet Earth. We grow when we give to someone else. Continuing, Brené Brown says, vulnerability begets vulnerability. Courage is contagious. You want to help someone on their journey of life. It's natural to so that they can have a more fulfilling and impactful life filled with vulnerability, right? They want that for you too. Ask people in your life for help. Hire somebody to get help, okay? There's nothing wrong with hiring someone to support you. A coach, a mentor, a healer, okay? Be vulnerable with them, be open, and allow perspectives and your life to transform. We are not meant to go alone. We need each other, and that's part of our life experience. And we need vulnerability. Because what is the secret of living? It's living with purpose and with direction. It's giving back to the world part of you to make it a better place. And if you're not vulnerable and open into that, then there's no contribution coming or going, is there? Living up to your full potential changes the world. And that's what I want for you. Being vulnerable changes your world. And I want that for you. What can you do this week that will allow you to step into vulnerability a little bit more? Is there a decision you've been wanting to make? Is there someone you've wanted to talk to? A boss, a partner, a friend, a parent, a child? What step of vulnerability are you going to take this week that will move the needle forward in your life? Because as you do, it will build confidence within you. It will deepen the trust within you. And your impact in life will be greater. So let me know in the chat below, okay? And I'll put my glasses on to come check it out right now. Hi, Jean. What do you do every day that's vulnerable, Jean? And you feel relief afterwards? Absolutely. You feel bad after you're vulnerable, Jean? Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I'm not sure which question you're asking. Freedom from anxiety, exactly. That is really good, right? And that's often, Jean, speaking to that is when we have anxiety, the natural response of the body with anxiety is we don't take action. We just shut down because we don't feel safe. But anxiety can be happening for multiple reasons. It's the natural response in the chemistry of the amygdala is to protect us, right? In our central nervous system is to protect us. So if there's inherited anxiety, right, you're going to automatically have anxiety around things. If life experiences have shown you that you're not safe in the world, right? If you've had experiences with people that are supposed to protect you and they haven't, have you been let down in your life? Our body's response is going to talk to us through anxiety. So I love that you brought this up. And it's so true. When we take action in vulnerability and facing it, right, our anxiety is lessened. Beautiful example for that. Thank you, thank you. And thank you for being live with me. All right, I'm going to come back in because my feed is not spinning at all. And I will answer your questions and respond. So as you listen to it, pop them in there and let me know what you're going to do this week. Okay, that's a step forward in vulnerability. What action are you going to take? All right, that's what I'm leaving you with. is that it is in your divine right to have impact in the world, impact in your life by being open to vulnerability. And I'll talk to you later. Thank you for being here. I'll see you next week.